Europa League finally hit the London Stadium with a bang last night. Wow. Top of the league still. How you feeling?
Well, pretty good, really. I mean, it was a nice night, wasn't it? There you go. Top of the league. 2 games won, 2 games played, 2 games won. No goals against us, 4 scored. 6 points. I mean, it's wonderful, isn't it? We're top of the league. We'll soon be top of the Premier League as well, just to, make for good content. So it was brilliant. It's brilliant.
It really was.
It's interesting because it wasn't the most end-to-end game, and I know we're going to sort of go through it, but it was a classic European game, wasn't it? If you know what
Just
I mean.
everything about it still, like even like meeting up in a supporters club, it just felt a little bit different. The unveiling of the new statue, which was a kind of nice touch. Then going into the stadium and hearing the away fans. I mean, listen, we'll touch on that as well, but credit where credit's due. The noise they generate and the banter that they create. I know there was more to that, and we'll talk about that again in a minute. But before all that rubbish, like I mean, the European fans, they're unbelievable, aren't they? Still unbelievable.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know how many of them there were because the top tier wasn't full, but the
There was no
bottom
one in the
tier
top
was.
tier, actually. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah. So there was probably only about 1,000 or so of them, but they made a noise and
Yeah, they certainly did.
they made their presence felt, and that made for, yeah. We'll talk about the other incident
Yeah.
in a minute, but that made for a good vibe.
Yeah.
There were moments when they were out singing the home fans.
Absolutely, yeah.
You
But
know,
then, do you know what's good though? Because it gives us the kind of determination to get back as fans, and it helps the stadium, it helps the atmosphere. It definitely makes it atmospheric as well. And credit where credit's due. I've looked at the light show that we missed going into the stadium, but it looked the real deal. It looked the business, and I think that all adds to the event as
Yeah,
well.
we both missed the light show, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
But
didn't
listen,
even know that was on, to be honest. So there you go.
yeah,
Shows how awful we are as plastic
yeah.
fans.
I do want to apologise though to everyone who's watching for listen, we do our best. We do our best. We want to go and enjoy the game as much as we possibly can. This is the reason why we're doing the review properly today. But we have intentions, great intentions, and I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, and still back this up. The issues we are having right now is the internet connection. So we'd love to bring you live presence and shows from the supporters club, but right now we're having issues with the internet connection. So if we can get that resolved over the next coming weeks, which we hope we can, we believe we can bring you an easy, flowing, nice show that you will all enjoy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also maybe we need to sort of think about, I mean, I know, that was probably your last game for a while to come down and watch, Anton, but in the future, we've got to get it right with regards to when we're all at a game. We need to make a decision. If there's no one that's going to be around in the studio to do anything, what do we do? Do we just put on a show like we try to do? We're sorry for the show that we put on, the 6-minute show last night from the pub. It was probably not the right thing to have done.
But you know what? We felt maybe we should have titled it differently. Maybe we should have just called that instant reaction or something. I don't know. But anyway, we're here today to talk about the highlights in words, so you could say the moment where we're going to talk about the game itself. So let's get into the team news then. Still, I mean, Moyes rung the changes, didn't he? Throughout the team.
And guess what? We didn't load a team list up, did we?
Well, I mean, to go through the team then, I mean, we were talking about the goalkeeper in particular. I think we were all kind of, the fan base were going, Fabianski, is it harsh to drop Fabianski, Areola? But we kept Areola. We brought Areola into the starting lineup. What was your thoughts on that?
I'm still torn as to what Moyes is going to decide to do with goalies going forward. Um, we just don't know, do we? And I'm actually quite pleased that Areola started last night, but he had nothing to do.
Yeah,
It was probably one of the easiest games he is ever going to have in a West Ham shirt.
yeah.
And but I'm actually quite glad that he was picked. I'm
Mm,
actually quite glad. I think it's good for him to get that experience. Good for him to get another game in front of the home fans. Um, and but it was difficult to judge. Um, uh,
I think the only
difficult
thing I could
to
judge, the
judge
only
him.
thing I could really judge him on though was his because he didn't have a lot to do. Didn't have, we had a couple of just picking up the ball opportunities, and the ball was brought back to him, and maybe they would press, and he would hit the ball to the right and then head it upfield, etc. But I did like his ability to command the box, and he was talking quite a lot as well, and he was really commanding back there. Now I know we didn't have many saves or anything to make, but it's
Yeah.
just good to see in the situation we find ourselves in. Still, as we've got two good goalkeepers now, that no matter who plays what, we feel confident enough going into each of the games. And I do, and I mean, I listen, and as the comments are coming in right now, Jordan Dare is saying Areola has barely had anything to do in his two matches, but it's still two clean sheets for him, which is true. Father Snowman is saying Areola passing was way better than Fab's. But the thing is,
I would, yeah.
I
We
agree with
know
that.
we've had a
Yeah,
problem with Fabianski's kicking for a couple of seasons now. We keep saying, don't we, that he clearly suffered the injury that he had a couple of seasons, not a couple of seasons ago. It kind of feels like he's not 100% over it. People keep asking, why did we always have two keepers on the bench? And I think we kind of half joking, well, that's because Fabianski might just sort of um, not get through a game.
yeah,
And I just wonder whether that was the actual harsh reality of it, and his kicking ability was affected and so on. Um, and it's good that we've got a keeper now that isn't just a backup. He is a first choice keeper,
yeah,
and people are absolutely right. He's had nothing to do. But when he does come in, there isn't that sort of, oh God, it's Randolph. Oh, it's David Martin. It's Areola, and people are going, yeah, I'm good with that, even though he hasn't had much to do. People are going, I'm good with that,
yeah.
and it's great to see that he's in the team. There you go. There's the
Cool. I
there's
was
the
just
team.
gonna, yeah, I was gonna say. So obviously, looking at that team news, what we saw were changes. Johnson came in at right back position, which we expected. Dawson came in alongside Diop. Creswell started the game. I wasn't 100% sure if Creswell would, but he did. Rice started the game, and Noble came in as captain. So Suchek was put and rested onto the bench. Yarmolenko started alongside Ben Rama, who I did not even remotely think would be anywhere near this game, to be honest, and Vlasic and Antonio. And then looking at the bench, still a couple of youngsters were on the bench, Alessi and Baptiste, which is really good to
Yeah.
see.
Well, I did suggest in the preview that I thought maybe one of those players might actually start. I said
Yeah,
maybe Ashby, Alese, or Baptiste. It was good to see them on the bench. I think he could have risked it. I think, when you look at that lineup, I think, and absolutely no disrespect to Rapid Vienna, I don't mean it in this way, but I think if he'd have started with, say, Alese on the left and given Creswell a rest, I don't think it would have been a bad thing. I kind of expected Kral to start. I actually didn't expect Declan to start. I thought Noble might, but I thought Kral would start alongside him. And I agree with you. I was surprised that Ben Rama started. I thought he might have been given a rest, and maybe Masuaku be put in there, who was also on the bench. And then we had this debate. You and Matt were right about Antonio. You both said he'll start, and I didn't think that Moyes would risk him. And I thought that maybe Lanzini. Yeah. So all the players that we were all thinking about were either in the starting lineup or they're on the bench, and that's good, isn't it? It's good
I
that
think.
we've got
I think.
those options and
Yeah, yeah, and
variations.
it's funny when you talk about Declan Rice there. What we did see about Declan Rice was, I think when Tommy Suchek was coming on as a substitute, which we'll go through again in a second, it looked like it was going to be Rice initially. But Rice, it was as I could have got this wrong and I could have misunderstood the full situation. But Rice looked absolutely raging with anger that he was potentially going to get substituted off. And I don't know if he had a word or whatever and it changed. But I think this is what we were all talking about in the stadium. And I don't think that is what would have happened because I don't think Moyes would be persuaded in that way. But
No.
what you've got is a absolute leader on this park
He
who
wants to be part of everything.
he wants to play as part in absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And do you know what?
Yeah.
Still, the more I come to think about it, the more I think with his engine, with his youthfulness, you know, maybe he can play a lot more games than what we think.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's a number of players, and people do sort of talk about, oh, well, players these days, they should easily be able to play 2 games, especially the younger ones, etc., etc. It isn't that. It isn't that we don't think they don't have the engine to do it. It's the concern over injuries that, and you've got to, what Moyes has to do is he's got to make sure that he's not putting players at risk. And the game yesterday looked comfortable for us. Just before we went on, we were talking about how professional we were and how accomplished we look. And we go out in a game now, and it doesn't seem to matter who we play. And there's a confidence, there's an air of confidence, not only with the team, but also that the fans feel that as well. And I
Yeah,
just wonder, Moyes needs to manage his players in the right way. And if Declan was taken off, I wouldn't have minded. And I don't think the fans would have minded. And Declan, we know he wants to play every game, etc., etc. But at the same time, um, he would respect what the manager does because we've got a big game coming up on Sunday. And you want your best players out there on Sunday, as well as making sure that you did the job against Rapid last night as well. You're on mute. Oh,
I'm
you've
saying
done Stell.
100%. No, I'm saying 100%, and I agree with you, which is not very often. Let's get into the game then, Still. I mean, for me, to be honest, and I think a lot of people were talking about the game as a whole, it was like, it wasn't massively exciting. It wasn't massively end to end. But for me, the experience of just, that's why I was desperate to get to this game in particular, because I thought I want to be present for the first home Europa League game. I wanted to feel what you said there, the away fans, the experience, all that sort of stuff. And I think that moment is what overtook the game itself as such, is what I could
The
say. So
moment.
the
Yeah.
moment of just being there, and then obviously I felt like we commanded the game to
Like,
start with.
yeah.
What were you going to say?
No, like I just said, very professional performance.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and and
and it. And I was just going to say very quickly in the first literally 10 minutes, we hit the post. I think like once or twice. I think
twice,
Declan
yeah.
Declan Rice went up for a glancing header
And
and hit the
Dawson.
bottom right hand side, and then Dawson jumped
Yeah.
over the top of the guy and smashed the header in off the crossbar.
Imagine
But
Dawson
listen,
getting a European goal.
but
I
the thing
mean,
is, like, I mean, the first one I want to talk to you about is Declan Rice. I know we talk about him every single time, but isn't it nice to see him get forward a lot more now? Isn't it nice to see that he's getting that break and he's getting further forward? And people are saying things like, "Well, Tommy Souček's not getting the goals." Well, the thing is, he's not, because Deckers is getting the goals.
Decker's
So,
and yeah, it is nice because he has talked an awful lot about it pre-season and talking about it, doing it for England as well, etc., etc. And it is nice, but the unfortunate thing is, people will start thinking that Souček is not the same sort of player as he was last night, as he was last season, which is not the case. Souček is doing a different job, isn't he? And
yeah.
and I think they'll take turns. I think they'll and I think they'll continue to share that workload in midfield. When Deckers goes up front, Souček will sit back. When Souček goes up front, Declan will sit back,
But
and
then
that's
what
how
that
they
does
have been.
still, that offers West Ham something new, because we're so used to Tommy getting forward and
Yeah,
not used to Declan going forward. So now Moyes has
we've
got an
not scored a
option,
goal from set
another
pieces yet.
option. Exactly.
We've
So
not scored a goal from
it's
set
wild.
pieces.
It's
Correct me if
wild.
I'm wrong. Got a free kick, corner. We haven't, have we?
No, no, I don't think we
You
have
know,
either. No.
and that is that's Souček's forte. How many goals did he get from set pieces last season? Souček,
Yeah,
he got 10
yeah,
goals. I can't remember how many of them were from set pieces. So we've still got that in our locker. You
Yeah, of
know,
course.
Antonio's scoring, Declan's scoring, other midfielders are scoring, the odd goal from a defender or whatever, but we've still got the set pieces in our locker. We still have not unleashed the set pieces this
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
So if there's
I
another way that we need to start playing, to win a game, we've still
yeah,
got those.
yeah.
And
No,
Socek
you're
will get
right.
his fair share. Socek will get
Oh,
his fair share.
but before we move on to the goal, you mentioned there Dawson, towering defender, getting above all these defenders, etc. What we've got still is four central defenders that are vying for
First team
any
place.
game. Just for
Yeah.
no, but the first team places every game.
Yeah, yeah, well,
So
yeah,
the the
basically, yeah, you're right.
the,
Yeah,
the, the,
yeah,
the the
yeah.
confidence, Dawson goes into the season thinking I'm going to get quite a lot of game time, and if it means I'm playing in the Premier League, or I'm going to play in Europa League, or I'm going to play in the League Cup, or I'm going to play in the FA Cup. The thing is, they're going to get
So
the
be
game
it.
time.
So
But
be
I
it.
tell you what, still, Vienna didn't cause us a huge amount of concern. Nothing that I would walk away and go, oh, they pressed us apart in the second half. But Diop and Dawson, to me, gave another professional performance in the back line.
Do you know who I'm pleased for Dawson, but I'm also really pleased for Diop
Yeah,
because he is beginning to demonstrate what people have been saying he's not capable of, and that is being a really good defender. And I'm actually really pleased that the Dawson Diop um, partnership is working because and I recall this, people were shuddering at the thought of Dawson and Diop starting at the back together, and they've done it twice now, and they've done it well. In the cup game and in the Europa League as well, in the League Cup and the Europa League, and they look comfortable playing alongside each other. And I'm pleased for both of them, but I'm really pleased for Diop because maybe when touch wood, it doesn't happen. But if we get the injuries to Ogbonna or to Zuma, and Diop can step in, people aren't going to shudder again. Just like we said about our goalie before Areola started, people aren't going to shudder and go, "Oh my God, Diop's starting. What's going to happen now?" So I think it's really, really good to see. And people keep talking about our A team and our B team. It's a team of 22 or 21 or whatever, however many
yeah.
we've got. So as you've just said, doesn't matter what game it is, all these players are going to get game time, and they actually don't know
Who's going to
whether they're
start?
going to who's going to start in the Premier League or in the Europa Cup or in the League Cup or when it comes along the FA Cup. Mate, we're going to win a trophy this season. I'm telling you now, we're going to
The
win a
thing, the
trophy.
thing, the really interesting thing about this is, we can always we always still, because we're so accustomed to talking about the Premier League and saying our starting 11 for the Premier League is the Sunday is like the Brentford game. However, the funny thing is, in order to get Champions League spot, we just need to win, or win Europa League competition. It's not just win it, and then that gets us in there. And then you could, they're so important. All these competitions are so important, and all these players are showing signs of they just want to play, be part of this squad, this setup, and they all look a unit. There's a
You're a
united
unit.
approach.
Well,
Yeah,
well, here's Jordan's comment. Our players will be tired, so Brentford is going to be tough. But who Fabianski didn't play, Zuma didn't play, Ogbonna didn't play. Probably Sufal will be back for that game. Okay, Declan played, but Socek, didn't play a whole game.
yeah. But to be fair, though,
Um,
still, I mean, I think we've become. And Jordan, I'll give this one to you. It's like we've become accustomed to saying these players shouldn't be playing twice a week, but these
yeah,
players can play twice a week. They don't have to play twice a week because they're coming up to a 2 week international break. So there's going to be players like Creswell, like Bowen, that aren't going to be playing in that international break.
yeah.
There's going to be other players in that squad I can't think off the top of my head because we've now got a lot of internationals, but they won't be playing in any squads. So it's yeah, I mean, it's offering us options and it's good. I'm not so worried about players playing twice a week, especially coming off the back of a
Ironically, the only players I'm worried about playing twice are uh, Creswell
Antonio.
and Antonio.
Yeah,
Not because they can't, but
yeah.
because of the fear of them getting injured. Because ironically, when I keep looking at the squad over and over and over and over again, the only two places I would like David Moyes now to go out and get decent, decent backups. I don't want to call them backups, but decent players that can fill those two slots are left back and striker. Those are the only two at the moment that I would like him to do something about.
Yeah,
When he has an opportunity to do so. So that's the only reason. Not because you're absolutely right. Not because they're not capable of playing twice in a week, but for fear of them getting injured and
yeah,
what that
yeah,
might impact on our in our league in
yeah.
our
Of course.
season. Sorry.
Let me talk to you about the game. The goal. Sorry, not the game. Yarmolenko, mate, in the middle of the park. And to be fair to him, he does do a lot of hard work in that middle of the park. I think he takes on a couple of players, and he pin perfect pass through to Antonio, who chests the ball down. Looks like he's going to take a shot, but squares the ball into the middle of the park, where Declan Rice again finds himself further forward and taps the ball into the back of the net, and then goes and celebrates in front of the away fans, which probably didn't help the situation.
Didn't help the
But
situation.
he did, and it was a great team goal, wasn't it?
What can you say about Yarmolenko? He gets absolutely slated. We know he's got talent. We absolutely know he's got talent because we've seen it. We've seen it in the times when he has been playing at West Ham when he hasn't been injured, and we've seen it in the Euros. And he showed a little bit of class last night, and we all laughed and said, "Oh yeah, Yarmolenko, here we go." Um, and he demonstrated what he's capable of doing. The unfortunate thing is, Yarmolenko's not a rubbish player. It's that he's had two very bad injuries in the 3 seasons that he's been with us, which is
Yeah,
why he hasn't got a lot of game time. It's not that he hasn't got a lot of game time because he's rubbish. He's actually quite a decent player, and you don't get that many international caps for your country and captain of your national team if you're crap.
you've
So
changed your tune style.
no, mate, I haven't changed
I'm
my
only
tune because I've
joking.
always said,
I'm
I've always
winding you
said
up, mate.
Yarmolenko's decent, but I'll be honest with you, I still think Yarmolenko's going to probably go in January. I still think he
Yeah,
will
yeah. I think
because
well,
what he
January
can't
or
do,
next year. Yeah.
yeah, he can't. What he can't do is he can't do it so much in the Premier League. But what did we say before Europa League started? There are a number of players where this could be perfect for.
Yeah.
Lanzini, Fredericks, Yarmolenko. Those are the players that might really relish Europa League football and
And play first team football.
and play first
Yeah.
team football.
Yeah.
And he did all right. He wasn't the worst player on the pitch, was he,
Yeah.
yesterday?
No,
He,
no, he
he did
wasn't.
all right. And it
I
was a
mean,
great pass. It was a great pass to Antonio. And all credit to Antonio, who would get it there and try and smash it in, but he squared it to Declan. What goal?
I
What team
believe I, be-
goal?
I believe the first half stats were something like 69% possession to West Ham, and I did notice that both Vienna and West Ham had very similar amount of chances, but the difference between Vienna's chances to West Ham's were that Vienna were shooting from 30 yards out and they were going haywire up to Rose, all that sort of stuff. But first half controlled by West Ham, done really well. Could have been 3 or 4-0 to be honest in the first half.
Yeah,
And then we go into the second half, no substitutes made. But what we did see was a little bit of crowd trouble. I don't want to talk about it too much still because I don't think it's the right place. I think we're going to do a show later on. You can talk about it then. But yeah,
yeah,
there was a bit of crowd trouble. The fans were amazing. I mean, we're never going to know what sparks it. I've heard so much different things from two sides today, and we never ever really know what's going to spark it. It's not great to see. It's not great to see, but hopefully I don't know if anyone was hurt. I have heard though that 3 people were arrested
right.
from the
West
I
Ham
believe from
fans or
no, I
from there?
believe they were from the away end.
Right.
I did see missiles thrown from both
We saw them
corners.
from our end, right on the other side. We
Yeah,
saw them flying over, but you told me just before we went on just how large these items were, and I'd had no
yeah,
idea.
yeah,
And as you rightly say, how the hell did they actually even get them in there?
yeah.
So security's not doing its job, is it? So
No, no, and I didn't see a lot of police initially. I've seen some images since with police, which is what you've just put up, but I didn't see a lot of police actually in the stadium, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully everyone kind of come away unscathed with that, and we
there you
can
go.
obviously,
Rob apparently you said they refused to leave the stadium and had a run-in with the
yeah,
police. So
yeah.
yeah,
So
it's a
moving into
shame. It's a shame because
yeah,
you don't want a dark days of Europe,
no, of
European
course not,
clashes and stuff. So it's a
of course
shame,
not.
but
Moving into the second half, no substitutes were made. However, we did make 3 substitutes in the 60th minute, I believe. We brought on Bowen, Suchek, and Lanzini. But before we talk about them and them particularly, I want to talk about Vlasic. What was your opinion on Vlasic yesterday?
taking time to get into the West Ham team, isn't
Way,
it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's not quite clicking yet. There are signs that he'll be good, and I think what I'm hoping is I hope he doesn't become the next fall guy, because uh, uh, big deal was made about him coming in for the price. We all know that we were chasing Lingard all summer, and then Moyes, at whatever point decided that's that. Let's go for, an alternative. And I hope people don't start comparing Vlasic to Lingard. Let's not forget Lingard is a Premier League footballer who has got quite a lot of Premier League experience, and as wonderful as it was that he hit the ground running when he came to us in January, he had that Premier League experience to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Vlasic is still finding his feet,
But like Ben
and it's going to take,
Rama,
like Ben Rama did, and so on and so forth. So I just hope fans are patient with him, because I reckon, just like Ben Rama, do you remember what we were saying last season? The minute Ben Rama gets a goal, he'll start
yeah,
coming to life.
yeah.
And I think that's what will happen with Vlasic. The minute Vlasic he hasn't scored yet, has he?
No,
He
he
hasn't
hasn't. No.
scored. No. The minute Vlasic gets a goal, I think that will give him the confidence.
Yeah.
And I think he will be. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Absolutely. Yeah, still young, still needs a season. I'm glad I'm seeing that. So I hope fans sort of don't forget that. We'll like
Well,
to
I
see
think,
him open his mouth.
but I think
Absolutely.
this is the way that we're thinking now. I think Moyes has actually accustomed us to think like this. Vlasic is going to get a bid in season, and it'd be great if they hit the ground running. But if it takes them a bit longer, the fans are patient now. We have to be patient because we see what happens when we're patient. We can build upon something. We can find a diamond in the rough. It's great that Soucek came in. It's great that Sufal came in and hit the ground running. Bowen, hit the ground running, but still didn't start every single game initially. And Ben Rama, the same. So if it works
Yeah,
out for Vlasic, then
absolutely.
touchwood, it does.
Yeah.
But we did bring on those three substitutes. I mean, we're bringing on three big players here still. We're bringing on Bowen, we're bringing on Soucek, two, players that we are, in a nutshell, saying is a Premier League 11. And Lanzini, Antonio came off, Noble came off, and Vlasic came off.
Yeah. Just,
Um,
just Will, I've emailed you, mate. Thank you very much, and nice to have met you last night as well. Yeah. Sorry, go on, mate.
Cool. No, that's fine. But before, again, we'll move into the game. 70th minute, we thought everything was going to come down upon us. We thought the world was ending when Rapid Vienna were awarded a penalty, and we thought Areola was going to get tested for the penalty spot. So we couldn't really see the angle of the foul. I received a text to say from a friend it was never a penalty, and I think we then knew that he was going to have to go over to the monitor. It took them 3 minutes to come to the decision that they did, but they got there in the end, and they decided it wasn't a penalty. And I don't know if you've seen the highlights since. I have.
Yeah, I've
He,
seen it. I've
he
seen
never
it.
even
He
touched him.
didn't
He never
touch
even
him.
touched the boy.
Didn't touch
So
him.
thank God for VAR.
There are times when VAR actually does work, people, believe it or not. And last night it worked
Yeah,
exactly how it should be working.
yeah,
And I'm glad the ref decided to actually clearly the communication that go. I still don't know how it works, because apparently if the ref makes a decision on the pitch, it's down to him to decide whether he continues with that or not. But clearly there was some communication going, you ought to go and have a look. And
yeah,
thank goodness he went to have a look. Johnson was nowhere near the player. I mean, he didn't touch him.
yeah,
I'll be honest with you though, maybe from a different angle, you see Johnson's foot coming up and you think he's got the player, but then when different angle was shown, he was nowhere near.
yeah, yeah.
So thank goodness for we love VAR, don't we?
Well, do you know what? We like it when it actually works properly, and it did its
Exactly,
job.
exactly.
It did its job last night. In the 76th minute, we made another sub. Yarmolenko came off, and Fornals came on. And I think for me personally, I think the two kind of impact subs that we made were probably Fornals and Bowen. I thought they offered us a nice new
Yeah,
approach going
yeah,
forward because
but
the first half of the second half was where we struggled in the game the most. We were kind of backs against the wall, letting Vienna come at us. But yeah, what were you going to say?
they didn't really come at us though, did
Well,
they?
no, but they
And
tried. Sorry, they were trying. They were holding the ball, and we never
yeah,
had really great opportunities in the first bit. But yeah,
I think the only sub that given that we were allowed up to 5 subs, the only sub I'm surprised we didn't see, and this might be a topic for who might play on Sunday, is Kral
it's
didn't come
Crom.
on. You know, I actually fully expected him to start last night, and then when he didn't start, I thought, well, he's going to come on as a sub, and he didn't even come on as a sub. So drop Soucek and play Kroll. Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
Soucek came on. He did all right when he came on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
We move into the 80th minute. Bowen has a great chance, but then literally a minute later, he has probably the best chance. And I'm not sure who played the ball through to him actually, but it was a great ball. Whoever played that ball through to him, he came 1-on-1 with the keeper. I think he went around the keeper, but the Vienna lads, defenders, slotted in front of goal. But what I noticed from looking at the replay was not at any point did Bowen lift his head. He didn't lift his head at all, and he just
yeah.
he
He's
just hit the ball.
finishing. Yeah,
He,
and with his right foot as well.
but he kind of went off balance, and the shot went wild, and we
Yeah,
were gutted. Obviously, we were gutted because we thought that was a good way to put an end, and good for him. But I was just a bit like I was like, when I look at it back, and maybe it's just different. I mean, we're not professional footballers, but you always think that these guys have to just if he just put his head up, he
yeah,
would at least put that on target, at
yeah,
least.
yeah. And Jordan's saying here, Bowen's doing an impression of Allaire.
Yeah,
um, it is. He's getting. I would have said the last few games where he has had opportunities where lovely dinks into the box, sort of beating defenders, etc. One on one with keepers. A couple of times he's done that this season. Keepers have pulled off decent saves and so on. You can't even say that about last night's effort. It was off
yeah,
balance. He didn't. You're absolutely right. He didn't look up and he skied it. And what a shame because it deserved a goal. You know,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
deserves a goal. He's such a hard-working player. And I hope that doesn't get to his into his head. I've missed
Well,
another chance. I've missed another
to be
chance.
honest though,
At least he's
still,
creating them.
what I did notice with Bowen straight after that opportunity was he was kind of going like this on the park. He was like annoyed at himself.
He was
But
pissed off. Yeah,
literally, but literally 10 minutes later, he created the Ben Rama goal.
yeah,
And that makes you think and understand that he got over that very quickly.
yeah.
I mean, he fed the ball through to Ben Rama on the left-hand side of the box. He got the ball onto the right foot, and it was such a clever goal. Look at that! Look at that angle.
I
He
know,
he
mate.
curls that ball
I
around the
mean, there's
defender
not a
and
lot
around the
there
keeper.
that he could.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of gap there that he could have put it in. Was there? Very, very nice goal. Love it.
yeah,
Love it. He's on form, Ben Wright. What's that? 4 goals this season now?
yeah. 4 goals
Something
this
like that.
season. Yeah,
He's on fire. The
yeah.
boy will
He
get
is.
double figures this season. I mean, mate, listen to us. I mean, can you actually? Are you pinching yourself? Because look what's going on. It's madness that we are playing the way we're playing. Any opposition in front of us, we don't seem to be afraid of. When we're being really professional when we need to be. I'm now reflecting back on the game at the weekend when I was a little bit dismissive of our win against Leeds. And I kind of said, "Oh well, we smash and grab." And I'm beginning to wonder now. It wasn't so much a smash and grab. It was a professional performance. And last night was another professional performance. And players like Ben Rama are beginning to reap the reward, the benefits of how Moyes wants them to
Yep,
play. And look at the confidence in that goal last night. Like the gap that he had to put that in. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Great goal. Great way to finish the night, wasn't it? You know?
absolutely. 2-0, walking away, like you said, walking away, finishing top of the league as it stands. Because I think Zagreb beat Genk 3-0 away from home, which bodes well for hopefully the next couple of games we've got coming up in the Europa League. But still we've played 2 games in Europa League. We've scored 4, like you said. We've not conceded a goal. Sitting on 6 points. We've travelled away, played a game at home, won both the games, and it's looking nice. And the thing is, we've used the squad. I haven't. Do you know I should have done it, and I'll do it soon. I should have written down the number of players we've used so far in the 2 games.
Mhm.
That would be an interesting one to have a look at because we've used a lot of players in this Europa League and we've only played 2 games. And this is what
We've
goes
only
back
played
to
two
the
games. Yeah.
statement you say. Like
And
we've got a full squad now.
I dare say we'll be using more
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
games coming up.
Well, it was nice to see. Like we said, I think you've got the image of the squad there in the starting 11. You've got Fabianski, Randolph on the bench, Alessi, Baptiste, Zuma, Ogbonna, Masuaku, Suchek, Kroll, Lanzini, Fornals, Bowen.
Apart from the two youngsters, and I think apart from Ogbonna, everyone else has played in a European game.
Yeah,
Oh, and apart from Randolph. Here we go.
Yep.
2 bloody keepers on the bench again. What is that all about?
I don't know. It
What
doesn't
is
bother
that
me.
all
It's not.
about?
I'm not that bothered by it, to be honest. Especially when you've got so many subs there, etc. But
Yeah.
yeah. So what else then are we gonna? That kind of brings it into the review of the game. So we got some other stuff quickly to talk about.
Oh, well, there's well, finally, which may bode very, very well for the January window, is this gentleman, Rob Newman, finally officially joined us today. That means he's got the whole of October and the whole of November and the whole of December to find a striker.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I mean, it's good. Come on, we know how things work. Gardening leave,
Yeah.
doesn't work
Yeah.
that way, does it? But
Nah, I
it's
know. I
good that
know.
he's officially here with us. And tongue in cheek, but honestly, I'm looking at our squad. I'm looking at top to bottom, keeper situation, defenders, midfielders, attacking, etc. And like I say, there are only 2 positions. I won't say 2. There are 2 positions that I think will make this squad even stronger, and that's not because of anything against Creswell or Antonio, but left back and someone up front. I don't
Mm.
care what it is, whether it's a striker or whether an attacking goal scoring midfielder. I don't care, whatever it may be. I probably should be a striker, but Rob Newman's here now, people, officially,
Yep.
and let him start doing the work.
And there's another cheeky bit of the jigsaw that Moyes is putting together since he's been back at the club. I mean, I think I put something in the chat earlier on, and I'll read it out loud now. And I know Russ touched on it earlier on as well. The stats since the start of last season, still in 53 competitive
Oh
football
yeah, we
matches.
haven't got that up, have we? The image?
No, we haven't got that.
No.
53 competitive football matches. We've won 29 of them. We've drew 10 and we've lost 14. So what that actually means is, for the first time in my lifetime that I can remember, our winning ratio beats our draw and loss put together. I always remember growing up looking at the league thinking the end of the season, it would be like played 38 and it would be like won 12, lost 12, drew 14, 16, whatever the number, 14 or whatever, and that would be our seasons pretty much. It was so consistent throughout each of them. But now it's different. We've scored 91 goals since the start of last season.
Mate,
We've conceded 61, so we do have issues. We always have done, but hopefully that
we
can
know
change
that.
this
We know that,
season.
but that's being
Yeah,
addressed.
and we've got 18 clean sheets throughout that time as
What
well.
I mean, what a transformation.
Yeah,
What a transformation, and going on to that, Anil asking how many players are going to get into double figures for goals scored. We're scoring goals for fun, as Nigel always says. Goals are fun, but when they're against us, it's not so much fun. But when they're
yeah.
scoring, and long may it rain, and given that stat and the fact that people keep saying we need a striker, even I just said it. I mean that this is with only one striker.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So it's fantastic. It's fantastic. That's
It's
Champions League
huge.
football, isn't it?
God, could you imagine?
That's
And we've got two.
Champions League.
The thing,
Say it, Anton. Say it. Say
still,
it.
we've got two options now. We've got Europa League to get Champions League football, or do it through the league.
Or do
I
it for a
mean,
league. Or just do both.
or do
Just
both.
win it and then top 4 as well. Just do
Yeah,
both. Just to
yeah,
make sure we knock out one of the other teams.
yeah.
They can't get it.
Absolutely. Listen, I want to bring everyone to the attention of our channel sponsor. Let me just bring that up to you just now, and it's football prizes, and it's a really nice one actually. Where is it? Here it is. Here. So I think there's a storm brewing where I am right now.
I think we're going to get one too.
Here we are here now. So we have a Jared Bowen signed and framed West Ham montage. It's the price for a ticket is £3.16 to enter, and only 27 tickets have been sold for 49 people. This competition, 49 tickets will to be sold, and only 27 have been sold.
Yeah, and your name has to be Matt for you to be able to enter the competition.
He is. Don't you worry. He is not entering this
He's not
competition.
entering.
But yeah, if you're interested in that, go across. I've put the link in the chat, so go across there. The prize ends tonight, 7:30 p.m. tonight, and it will be do a live draw at 8:30 p.m. on their Facebook page. So go and check it out. But great prizes to be won there,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah,
thanks
good
to
one.
our sponsors on the channel. That really brings an end to our show. Still, I mean, we're 41 minutes in, and it's about to end. But I'm looking outside at this weather. I'm thinking I need to go and pick up Freddie, and we're going to get soaked. So I might go and need to prepare myself for it. Anything else you want to say?
Well, Frank wants to know if Jared Bowen signed a jar of marmalade.
Oh, honestly, I have no idea what's going on there. But anyway, that's a whole new ball game.
Marcus, yeah, just well, thanks for the comments, by the way, people. You know, we do try and pick up as many as we can. Hope you're well. We're both very well, even though it was a late night. Still buzzing after last night's win. Think we need to work on our finishing in the final third and really look forward to the game against Brentford. Yeah. Game against Brentford's going to be interesting. Forge.
Well, you know, they're you know, we'll do a preview for them. We've got an away fan coming on as well, so they are a nice solid unit, a good footballing team as well. So I take it that's
going to be a hard game.
Yeah,
going to be a hard game.
Yeah.
Forge, drive carefully, especially on the South Circular.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do a proper preview of that as well. But
Jordan's asking, is there other shows this evening?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. The late.
Well, before that, there is a players' ratings.
Oh,
so
the rating
make sure you
show.
join us at
Yeah.
the rating show. I think that'll be around 8 or 9 o'clock. I'll be around for that, and then I'm taking another seat back from the late show and leaving that one to Stell plus a special guest later on. Well, I've only had about 3 hours sleep still, so I really need to catch up on it. So,
what, in that £30 a night hotel you booked?
Yeah, basically, yeah. But anyway, that brings an end to the show. If you're new around here, subscribe. Go and subscribe to the channel. Please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the like button. It really does help our channel out. We've got some really, really, really big and cool announcements coming out.
Well, we can make one announcement now.
Well, can we?
Yes, we can. Yes. Oh, maybe we shouldn't.
I think we could before the Brentford game, but let's hold off to. I think we should hold off.
All right, let's hold off.
But we'll be a good couple of announcements coming soon. Really good ones, really interesting ones. It'll be cool. You guys really make my afternoon. You smash TV.
Rob, even having a nap is better than watching afternoon TV. I'll tell you. But thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure to read comments out. You know, that's what we do. That's what we're. David Moyes wins games. We read comments out. That's what we do. That's what we do.
That's what we do. Listen, thanks for joining us. Subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, and yeah, if you want to be a member, have a look at the memberships into the Jared Bowen competition, and we'll see you later on for 2 more shows for this evening. We'll have the preview coming tomorrow. We'll have the live match day live on Sunday, followed by the highlights and words, and then we'll have Sales Weekly.
People. Anton will be in the studio, so we'll be doing proper match day live, team news, proper review, and we will link up from the supporters club before and after the game.
If we have the internet,
believe we should have the connection correct.
Touch wood. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. He's been Stell. I've been Anton. This is West Ham Network. Come on.